we're going to talk about proper setup in the golf swing so you can actually move, not like a dork.
Don't be a dork.
Don't be a dork. Okay, so I think for folks that like really follow our channel, they know how like freaking psycho we are and infatuated with movement we are.
Yeah.
Like we love that stuff and it looks all like cool and sexy and blah, 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 blah. But what I think we've always like kind of just skipped over is how to stand to the damn thing, right?
Which is
like, actually
really important.
Oh, dude, it dictates everything.
Yeah.
It dictates what you can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. We want, in all honesty, we probably want more things that we can't do.
Interesting.
Based on how you set up.
Okay.
Rather than this allows you to do whatever, right? We want to like be able to get in this point where it's like we're not going to move this way. We don't want that.
Just based on how you set up to it, you can eliminate a lot of those potential like mistakes.
Yes.
Right?
That's exactly right. So general theme in this video, we'll talk about pressures, meaning I'm standing here. So if I'm on a pressure plate, where my balance really is in golf swing.
Sure.
Okay. We need to be able to set up in a way where our arms can move in certain ways.
Okay.
And certain setup positions will allow or not allow for certain arm movement.
Okay.
Arm movement, again, what we're going to talk about primarily is like shoulder complex.
Yeah.
When we talk about arms, we're talking from shoulder complex to the elbow complex. So this is the arm. These are hands. Because the two bones that are in here in your forearm, that's what makes this all rotate. So that's hand action, right? So right in here. And then finally, like how the spine is going to operate throughout the course of the entire swing. The spine goes in extension and flexion. So this way, right? It does lateral bending. And it rotates. It does a lot. It bounces through all of that. So we need to be able to set up in a certain way that allows for that, like our spine to be able to operate properly, and it helps the entire system.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk about the spine first. So Teach, throw your club down for just a second. What I want you to do is put your arms straight out in front of you. Now, what I want you to do is take your scaps, and we're going to pull these back behind you. Okay, so the more that you pull this is called scap retraction. Scap retraction, does that move your spine into more of an extension state or more of a flexion state?
Extension.
Exactly.
It's like elongating.
It's almost like you're trying to take your scapula and bring them together. They move this way. And as that happens, just how the spine responds to that is it moves into T-spine extension. Okay? Now push them away from you. So it feels like your scaps are going to go around, your scaps actually do, they go around your rib cage this way. So scap right here, scap right here. So if you push forward, your scaps go there.
Got it.
And it moves this into more of a flexion state.
Got it.
Okay, so why the hell are we talking about that?
Because it's important.
Because it's important. This is why it's important. When we're setting up to the golf ball, what we want is, again, the body is going to support the swinging action of the arms. So if you set up right here, Tej, like go ahead and just set up like you kind of normally do. Pull your scaps together back here. Scap retraction. See where the humerus goes? Goes onto the side of the ribs.
Yep.
How much can the arms really swing from right there? And just eye test, does that dude look right?
No.
No, he doesn't look right. So if you see this guy and like, I want my spine to be straight, and then this guy, well, even if you go into spine extension, your scaps are going to retract. It's just how our body works. You can't go into scap protraction and extension of the spine. It's not going to happen. It does not work.
Fair.
We don't move that way. Okay, so we want the arms, meaning the humerus, the humeri, to be on top of the chest. When you did that, your scaps went into a protractive state.
Yes, they did.
Which makes this go into some amount of flexion.
I see it.
So a slight amount more flexion than neutral.
Got it.
Because we don't stand like this. We stand like that. That's neutral scap, neutral shoulder complex, neutral spine, neutral.
And
so
then
if I
we're just gonna...
There you go. That's it. So see how it makes this round just a bit more? It doesn't need to be excessive.
No, but a little bit.
But that's it, exactly. So if you just stand normal, okay? Just stand like we chat.
All right.
Okay, good. So from there, if you just went into a squat, like you're in a squat rack right now and you had a squat bar on you, okay, feel where your pressure is now. Now, drop like you're squatting. Where's your pressure moving? Does it move more into the balls of the feet when you do that or more into the heels?
I guess more into the heels.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be proper. So again, just like eye test look, like if you're looking at this, if I squat and I'm going into the balls of my feet, this guy compared to this guy, you can just tell which one looks better.
Got it.
It's funny, like eye test is something that almost everybody should just take into account. If it looks right, chances are
It's right.
it is right
Yep.
from an athletic perspective.
Fair.
So where the pressure is going, okay, from like this north-south direction, is it's moving rearward, posterior. It's moving that way. Okay, so we're going to start with that.
All right.
So if you set up, TJ, go ahead and set up like you normally would for a golf swing, but just set up more heel loaded, like the pressure would move there. Good. Now try to squat. Okay.
Yeah, I'm already there, so I can't go further back.
So you have room to move this way. There you go. So what is that?
Yeah, there's your hip extension.
There's hip extension.
Yep.
So if we get to the top, like what we want to be able to do is drop. Okay. And if I'm already in my heels just in setup, right? Like if I'm sitting back into these heels, that's where my pressure is, and I swing it to the top and I try to drop, you're not going to have room to be able to do it. And you got all the room the other way.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Okay, so we want to preset almost to the point, and like learning this, it'd be really cool to overdo this because we've kind of got like 4 different portions of the foot.
Sure.
You got heel, more in the arch, the ball of the foot, and the toes from this north-south direction.
Yep.
Set up for us, and you have almost 100% of your pressure on the toes. So it'd be as far north as you could get. So not this way, just over. How you're going to get there is like you're just falling over. It's almost like if you had a pool in front of you and you're ready to like dive in. There, that way. Just that looks okay. It's a little overdone this way.
Sure.
But now try to drop.
I got so much room to drop.
Yes, exactly.
So coming from more of a toe bias, I can actually now afford to move more that way.
There you go.
Which is what we want.
Which is what we want.
Yep.
That's our preference in our system.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just call this diving board posture.
Okay.
In that, like if we're standing right, exactly. So if I'm getting ready to just jump in, I'm going to go this way. See, I'm like heavy into the balls of my feet or into the toes. This is okay. This is okay. You can drop it back into the balls of the feet and it's super subtle. This is just what we want to like stay away from when we're setting up.
Interesting.
Okay. Because we want to move there in the golf swing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The final bit is just this, like, we hear a lot about this anterior versus posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so show anterior tilt.
So anterior tilts.
That way, exactly. So if you could think of, and you just said this before making this video, like fishbowl, like if you can imagine your pelvis as a fishbowl, okay? And we wanted to spill the water out forward, like out of my belt buckle. My pelvis would bend this way. So that's extension in the L spine.
So my pelvis just went there.
Exactly. Okay. Or if you went posterior pelvic tilt, we're trying to pour that water out the other direction. Okay. And all that we're doing, like you'll see it's very subtle. It's just in my belt line here. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Okay. We want to go and move more into a posterior bias.
Okay.
The reason that we're doing this is we're moving everything, like all of that makes us go into more of a flexion state in the entire spine. So if we go heavy protraction here in the scaps, T-spine flexion, now show posterior pelvic tilt, there's L spine flexion. So TJ's entire spine looks more rounded this way. And why we're doing that is we're almost presetting impact. Okay. So we're going to get back, like if you look at every really high level like hitter on tour, they're all in this like pretty heavy flexion state. They look more that way at the moment of the strike.
As opposed to
that way. Exactly. So we're kind of in a way presetting impact at setup in the spine.
Got it.
Okay. There you go. Beautiful. So The other thing that we're going to do, like throughout the course of the movement here, like the arms are going to lift at some point. Like if you fire them, what's that make your spine do? Does it go into more of a flexion state or more of an extension state?
I mean, the more that I lift them, the more they're going to extend.
That's exactly right. And if you toss the arms and then dropped, now it's full extension.
Full extension. Okay.
Full extension.
Interesting.
Okay? And it's not because I'm trying to go into spine extension. It's
Sure.
because the act of squatting, like dropping properly,
Yep.
makes my whole back chain, my spine go into more extension. There you go. And the T-spine goes into more extension because the arms are lifting. If the arms lift,
Gotcha.
I look more this way. So this is extension, and if I drop, I'm going into a bit more extension.
All right. So actually, in
That's
the
the load.
backswing, those forces are pulling the spine into some extension.
Yes.
So
exactly.
if we set up already extended,
You don't have room
we don't
to
have that
move.
ability. Okay.
Exactly. So what
Understood.
you've done is you've subtracted your ability to go into extension because
Okay.
you're already there. It's
Got
like if I'm driving along and I'm in second gear and the passenger goes shift to second gear. You have you can't move.
Yeah.
So it
Okay.
immobilizes you. It doesn't allow you to move in certain ways.
All right. Fair enough.
And in that that transitionary period, like you'll see this out of like all our favorites, like Hovland. Look at Hovland in frickin' like P3 to P5. Watch his spine.
It's like it's going to go from some extension to flexion.
So he
right?
sets up in quite a bit of this. Like he looks this way.
He
it's
does.
set up.
Yeah, he does.
And then from like look at his spine here and look at his spine at P5.
Ah, interesting.
Big drop, the arms
Yeah.
lift, da 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 da. So we're setting up in a way that makes that friggin' possible.
Sure.
Like that, we need that.
Sure.
Okay.
So like Hovland doing this is intentional, right? Because
Yes.
now he's got some mobility to actually move.
Yep. So if I'm in this like heavy like flexion state here, and then I go movement, drop,
Yep.
there's the spine extension that we want. The appropriate. That's such a good look. So let's do this now, and go ahead and set up, and I'll just like recap here because we got three main topics. I want to see like almost to the threshold of scap protraction.
Okay.
It's going to make this round more for you.
Got it.
Okay. Let's make sure that we're in quite a bit of pelvic posterior tilt.
Okay.
Good. So loads a drop there. And then move away from it more so you can be in more diving board posture so you're more into the toes.
Okay.
Now you look like frickin' Hovland.
Holy cow, that doesn't look like what it feels like.
Yeah. Okay. So now go ahead and hit one with plenty of drop in that transitionary phase and just flush one out for us. Super cool.
Really cool.
So again, we want two things in setting up. We want the ability to move in certain ways so that I can shift from second to third gear, go figure. And we also want the ability to like subtract all the stuff that we don't want to do. I don't want to start in the heels and then have no ability to move in the heels.
Sure.
And I have all the ability in the world to move into the toes because of pelvic extension
Interesting.
early,
Yep.
right? Like this guy doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't.
This guy does,
Yes, he does.
right? Just again, eye test. You're
Yeah.
like, that one looks better than that one, just from an athletic perspective. Screw plane. Who cares about where the golf club's swinging?
Yeah, fair.
Just look at people move. And if you do that, like your eye test on the driving range, if you just put, like next time you go to the range, just put your bag down and just watch the range. And just initial like gut reaction on like every single person that you see, you'll go, that guy looks like a dork. Ooh, he kind of looks nice. Nope. Yo, yeah. And then try to explain to yourself why. You just stumble all over
It's kind
yourself.
of hard
look
to do.
at
It's eye test. It's like,
eye
you can
test.
just tell that guy's moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like rhythm based, but what it is like we're seeing movement and the sequence of that movement, the ability to move in certain places in space. It's like, it's just a response, and an alien could see it. They go, oh, tiger looks good,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so set up properly just through those three basic principles. It will allow you to move, one, in a really healthy way, but you'll also be able to like swing the friggin' golf club and it feels nice, and you can do the things that you have always wanted to do in your golf swing, just based on how you set up. Keep us posted, comment below. I love that. That's my favorite. That's going to be our outro from now on.